So this is one of the things I wanted to talk about is in regards to selling those exoserums. This is what all exosomes do. So they rejuvenate the skin, just as we have just spoken about. They want to give proteins, they're going to give growth factors, they're going to signal other molecules to create collagen. They're also going to speed up cell turnover. And this is going to change the texture and the tone of the texture and the tone of the skin. So one of the things is when I'm trying to sell exoserums to my clients, I get this list out that is actually on a brochure. And I showed them, this is what exosomes do, period. So we can talk about cell rejuvenation. We can talk about wound healing. So it's going to, stimulate, it's going to reduce inflammation, and it's going to create new vessels. It's going to strengthen those vessels. So if somebody comes to me and they have a bunch of broken capillaries like rosacea, or they're super sensitive from over chemical peeling, or potentially using retinol and it's just peely and flaky, and those clients, because everything we do to them in the treatment room, their skin just reacts. So for me, if I have someone who is super reactive, I'm going to give them the sensitive ExoSerum, and I'm going to put them on that for the first 6 weeks or 2 months, however long they use it. Keep in mind, if you are using your ExoSerums twice a day, you're going to have them for about 6 weeks. If you use them once a day, you'll have them 12 weeks. If you're using them twice a day, you're going to have them about 6 weeks.
Okay.
So then we talk about anti-aging, and everybody wants anti-aging. But when we go through the serums in a minute, you will see that a lot of ingredients, and on top of the fact that exosomes are constantly speeding up the cell turnover, they are giving new messages to tired old cells, be it one for pigmentation or one for acne, which I'll go over in a minute. I don't want to get ahead of myself. But for your anti-aging, it's reducing oxidative stress. So it's protecting you from environmental assault. Maybe you get into an elevator in the grocery store and they've just cleaned it with lots of products, that is going to give your skin a bunch of free radical assault. You know what free radicals are, correct? I can't hear you. Are you?
I do. I know what, yes, I do.
So a free radical is an unstable molecule. And
Yes,
molecules always have to be in pair. So when they are not in a pair, they are just bouncing around on the skin, trying to make themselves a pair with another, kind of stealing a cell, if you will. So what happens is we have degradation or breakdown of the skin. That cell that is bouncing around is taking away from other ones, which is innately going to cause us inflammation. Long-term is going to be causing pigment or lines. Temporary stress is going to look like redness and possibly inflammation like bumps. Back in the day, rosacea and acne were the same thing, but now they've separated from rosacea, acne, just to one or the other. But it's all an inflammation condition where we're speaking of pustules. So looking for our anti-aging, of course, is going to reduce that oxidative stress. It's going to help with a barrier function. It's going to repair cell tissue, and it's also going to give them growth factors.
Okay. Oh, growth factors too. Okay.
Yes, that's what is in your exosome. So you're going to be getting that from all of any exosome product that you use.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So when I come, and this is the second part of that screen, maybe this will make more sense. When we get to skin hydration, all exosomes hydrate the skin because they get the skin to produce more hyaluronic acid cells, which makes those tissues nice and plump. So we see the minimization of those lines. And that's how we increase the natural moisturizer factor. Like the conversation we had the other day. Hyaluronic acid is going to be your water plumping, and your essential fatty acid or your oil is the other way you hydrate your skin. Now that is produced out of the oil follicle, but once we hit 30, that process shrinks. So if we're not giving the skin what we need, we're not going to have both types of hydration before we seal it with moisture. And that's why we introduced you to Marigold. So all exosomes are going to create more hydration in the skin. All exosomes are going to work on pigmentation because they're going to block the melanin function. And they're also going to speed up cell turnover so that cell's not sitting on the top of the skin. Because what I know about pigmentation is every time you have a brown spot and the sun hits it, it reaches out to the surrounding cells, almost like an octopus. And what it's trying to do is cap the DNA of those skin cells. And when it does, it's just a protective function. We start to see that small little cute freckle move into a big patch of pigmentation.
Correct.
So all exosomes are blocking that melanin function and protecting so that we're not getting as much brown spots and they're not growing and becoming bigger and bigger sitting on the skin. It's also speeding up the cell turnover. So when one is on the skin, it's coming off faster.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
And then they also all are antibacterial or antimicrobial. So they reduce oil production, and they also kill bacteria in the skin. So when I have a client that comes to me and they're of a certain age where they get a hormonal pimple once a month on their chin, I might still sell them anti-aging because of what exosomes do. It's going to handle that one pimple that comes with the period. Does that make sense? So I look at it, and I'm going to pop back 1 second, and I look at this list when I am taking a client over to look at my exoserums, and I'm like, we're all getting cell turnover. So, and they're all wound healing, and they're all giving you your anti-aging and benefits. And I go through them with them. We're getting skin hydration, more plumping, more juicy because of the hyaluronic acids created. If it's like my skin, which is interesting because I would say normally I choose anti-aging or sensitive. They're my favorites, but I have to kind of change my game. I've never really spent any time with pigmentation, and we got low on anti-aging, and I didn't want to take any out of what my inventory in case we're going to sell them. They're back tomorrow, but the point is I didn't want to take it. So I grabbed pigmentation. And like for my skin, where I'm going with this is I don't really have any pigmentations, but the amount of brightness that I've gotten from my skin and just like little things under my eyes and little tiny things, because I don't have enough melanin in my skin to really cause super dark pigmentations on my skin, but the light pigmentation that has gone and the brightness of my skin has been incredible. I've probably been using it for about 4 weeks now just to, I don't know, I never really spent time. I put some on my chest, I put some on my hands, but I never really used that particular exoserum on my face. But that's what I'm saying. If somebody's got just a light bit of pigment, but they have another condition that it more stands out, that's the one I'm going to choose. So this is why I go through this list with people and I say, look, they're going to do all this. So what condition is it that you want to work on first or number one? And sometimes, like I said, if they've overdone chemical exfoliants, if they've done something aggressive, if they've been doing lasers, if they've been over processing their skin or it's super dry, I might go with sensitive first. Because I have seen with my particular clients that everybody that gets in a treatment that I'm always constantly trying to get them from reacting to anything I do because their skin is just brittle and it's dry and it's just irritated and it's easily, bothered and taken out of balance. I will get them to go home with sensitive exoserum. And I get them to use it through that bottle. Then when they come back, I can always give them a different formula. And now that I've tried the pigment in the way that I have, I'm probably going to rotate them, to be honest with you. I'm going to do anti-aging, I'm going to do sensitive, I'm going to do pigment, and I'm going to start back over again because they're all giving me different properties from the plant-based ingredients that I put in them. All of the exoserums change the skin within 3 to 5 days before I put the exosomes in. And so now with that's the only difference.